Hi everybody, this is Carolyn from Homesteading Family, and this is Hannah. She's here to give us a hand today. And she's often my helper in the kitchen, aren't you? Do you help me a lot in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a good helper?
Yeah.
Uh-huh, she sure is. So we've been talking about preserving our eggs for the last about month here. And I'm going to show you another method today. And this is a great method for if you have eggs that come into the house that are dirty. And so you need to wash them. Now remember, eggs that have been washed don't store nearly as well because you wash off that protective layer from the pores of your eggshells. There's like 17,000 pores on every egg. It's a lot, and if you wash off that protective layer, you just invite oxygen to come in, liquids to come in, whatever is out there, bacteria, anything to come into those eggs. When they're unwashed, they're actually quite safe and very healthy, and they have their own protective layer, just kind of like our skin. And so when you get a dirty egg though, and you get, some chicken droppings on it or mud or any barnyard muck or anything like that, you really do need to wash those. Those aren't going to last long anyways like that. So these eggs came in a little bit muddy. It has been rainy out and the chickens are walking through a lot of mud, and they came in a little bit muddy, and so we've had to wash them. Now we do try to keep our nest box really clean. Sometimes we even clean them and add new bedding every single day if it's a muddy season, but we just didn't make it to it this round. So these have now been washed, and so they're not good for storage. So I'm going to show you a great way to go ahead and preserve these. And guys, this is so easy. This is so simple. We do a lot of breakfast casseroles and baking in the winter time. And so this is a great way to preserve your eggs for those casseroles or for, for anything that is called for in baking. This is not going to be a great way to eat the eggs all by themselves. Their texture does seem to change a little bit, and it's just not as palatable. But in something baked, you absolutely will never know the difference. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take 6 eggs at a time, and I'm going to go ahead and just crack them right here into something that can be poured from. You want to crack an egg? Yeah. Ooh, do you see the color of those egg yolks? What color are those? Do you know?
White.
They're white? No, those are really pretty much orange. Okay, do you remember the right way to crack an egg?
Yeah.
Crack it on its side right here and see if you can do it. There you go. Crack it real hard. A little bit hard. Good job. Okay, good work. All right. Another bright orange one. Boy, when you have fresh eggs from chickens who have been out eating bugs and grass and stuff besides grain. Because once they start eating those good natural chicken foods and not just all pure grain, which is not natural for anything, all of a sudden these egg yolks turn a totally different color, and they're so beautiful. They're just lovely. Okay, I have 6 eggs cracked in this bowl. And so what I'm going to do now is just beat them up. Can you do that?
Yeah.
You go ahead and do that? Can you give it a good stir?
Yeah.
Good job. Good work. Okay, Mama's turn. We're just going to mix them up really thoroughly so that you can't really see the difference. I do these in denominations of 6 eggs at a time in our household because we're a large family, and a lot of our baked recipes, our baked goods recipes, or our breakfast casseroles call for eggs in the amount of, denominations of 6. So 6 or 12. This gives us a lot of flexibility while using, less and less trash or packaging at the same time. Some people, especially if it's just you, or you're just a couple, or maybe you just have a few people in your house, 1 or 2 eggs in a package is plenty for you. So this is all I'm going to do. I have a Ziploc bag here, and it's labeled 6 eggs, and it's labeled with the month and the year. Always label your bags. I know you know what it is right now, but after this has been in the freezer for 6 months, you are going to look at that thing and be like, what is that? Is that pumpkin or is it sweet potato puree, or what is that? And so you always want them labeled. Don't put anything in a bag or anywhere that's going on a pantry shelf or a freezer or anywhere until it's labeled. That is my #1 preservation rule. It's also my #1 herbalism rule and kind of my #1 everything rule, because you just forget what it is and you just can't tell sometimes after it's been sitting around for a while. Okay, now you want to remember to get all of the air possible out of this. Could you do it in a vacuum sealer? Absolutely, you could if you wanted to. But you know, I find that this works really well. And then the next trick is when you freeze them, please freeze them flat. You will save so much space because you can have one nice big stack and just keep adding to it all season long. Just one big stack, nice flat stuff. What are you seeing out there?
Connor's riding the
Oh boy, here come back the boys from doing their chores. That's exciting. And you've got it. That's all. You go ahead and get these in your freezer and you'll be able to pull these out all winter long and use them whenever you want them.
Just with Connor now.
Wow, you're going to go out and play with them?
I can't go in there.
No. Okay, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right, my eggs have been frozen for a few days now, and so they're very hard. You can see this is nice and flat, so it just stacks up nice and tall in the freezer. You can just keep adding bags and bags and bags of eggs here all summer, all spring, all summer, whenever you have extra eggs, and be ready to use these. Now, so I wanted to share a tip with you though that I have learned from a lot of trial and error, and that's these, especially if you're using the Ziploc bags. They are very good when you go to freeze them. They usually stay nice and secure if you put them in. Usually there's no dripping or anything like that. But what I've found is when you take something out of the freezer and start to defrost it, the bags almost always end up with a hole in them, and then wherever you're defrosting it, you have half of it in the bag and half of it out of the bag, and it's a real mess. So one trick that I've learned that's really helped me is to go ahead right away when everything is still frozen in the bag and just cut the bag right off of whatever it is that you have that's frozen in that bag if it's liquid. And then go ahead and just peel it right off. See, it's really neat and clean because everything's frozen, so you're not going to get all gooey. And drop it right into a pan, and I would cover this and put this in the refrigerator overnight or for a few hours. If you're going to bake right away, this actually will defrost very quickly because it's so thin, and so you could probably go ahead and put it into a little bit of warm water if you're going to use it in the next few minutes. But you know, overnight in the refrigerator, and you will have really nicely defrosted eggs that are ready to be baked with the next day. Take care, guys. Goodbye. For more videos like these, sign up at www.homesteadingfamily.com. Also, follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.